Today we're going to continue our topic on significant digits with scientific notation. Now, I know what you're thinking. When is this significant digit stuff going to stop? Well, today's your day. So after today, you do the homework, you do the quiz, and then you take the test, and then we're done with significant digits. Okay, so you can be like, finally, we're done with significant digits. The rest of the year, I'm not going to be concerned that much at all with significant digits. I'm going to teach you methods of problem solving. And so when you have those problem solving skills already down set, then what you can do is you can refine your significant digit skills, and you can answer the problems according to the correct number of significant digits. So, but for right now, this is it. Today is done deal. So good luck to you. So let's get after it. Okay, so significant digits and scientific notation. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to use numbers with scientific notation, and we're going to add and subtract them. Now, if we use scientific notation with multiplication or division, it works the same way as before. You take the least number of significant digits for your answer. So let me do a couple examples. If I had 3 times 10 to the second, and say I wanted to multiply that by 4 times, or let's just say 4.4 times 10 to the 0 power. So if I'm multiplying these numbers, I'm going to have 3 to the power of 2 and multiply that by 4.4, and I get 1320. So my answer is 1320. Notice that I have 1 significant digit here. I have 2 significant digits here. My answer can only have 1 significant digit. This digit 3 is less than 5, so we round down. So the answer is going to be 1,000. And if I put it in scientific notation, then it's going to be 1 times 10 to the 3rd power. 1, 2, 3. We bring that on over. Now, this is what I mean by if you're multiplying using scientific notation. Now, if we add and subtract, it's a little different because it's just like before. You have to follow that decimal point. You got to find out where the decimal point is. Let me give you an example of what we did before. If you had 3.41, say you wanted to add it to 10, okay? So we're going to add it to 10. And you might say, well, that's just 1 and a 4. We bring down that decimal point. 3 and 0 is 3, and then we have a 1. Okay, and so then you'd say, well, it's just 13.41. But remember, when we do this, we have to follow the decimal point. And so notice I didn't put a decimal point here past this 10. So this number only has 1 significant digit. And so here we have 3 significant digits. So when we do this, notice they do not have to the hundredths place. They do not have to the tenths place. They do not even have to the ones place. But they do have to the tens place. So I would have to round to the tens place. And so this would be a 1, and this digit is 3, less than 5, so I round down. The number is 10. So according to scientific notation, if I put it in scientific notation, is 1 times 10 to the 1. And so that would be the correct scientific notation for this. And you might say, well, wait a minute, what are we going to do over here? Well, notice that these both were times 10 to the 0. They were both times 10 to the 0. So they had the same power of 10 here. Okay, that's the key. So when we add and subtract, they have to have the same power. So that way we can check when we determine which placeholder to keep. So let's do a couple examples. So we have 2.41 to the negative 3, 0.23 to the negative 3, and 14.8 to the negative 3. They all have the same power of 10. So they all have the same power. So I just put them up. And I say 1 plus 3 is 4, 4 plus 2 is 6, and 8 is 14, 3 and 4 is 7, and I bring down the 1. So this is my This right here is my calculator answer. This is what the calculator gives me. And so if we notice, though, they do not all have to the hundredths place. They have to the tens place, but not to the hundredths. So that means my answer has to be rounded to the tenths place. And so I look at this 4. This 4 is less than 5, so I round down, and I get 17.4 times 10 to the negative 3. Now that looks good, but it's not written in correct scientific notation. If you remember from the earlier video, scientific notation is m times 10 to the n, where m is a number that's greater than or equal to 1, and it has to be less than 10. 17 is greater than 10, so we have to bring this decimal point over. So that's going to give us, when we bring it backwards to the left, that's going to give us a to the negative 2. So 1.74 times 10 to the negative 2. So this is my correct answer. Notice that I have 1, 2, 3 significant digits in my answer, and I keep that 3 significant digits there in my answer. So let's do one where they're different a little bit. And so that would be B. 2.78 to the positive 3, 1.23 to the 2, and 1.009 to the 2. So what we do is, the first thing is we get them all to the same power. And we'll just do it to the power of 2. So 2.78 to the 3, that's 27.8 to the power of 2. Now they're all at the same power. So I now put them in this format. Notice I put one right after the next. I follow that decimal point. Then I just add them together. So 0 and 0 and 9, bring down to 3, 8 and 2 is 10, 8, 9, 10, and 2 and 1 is 3. I get 30. So this is what my calculator gives me. But notice that they do not all have to the thousandths or to the hundredths. But they do have to the tenths place, which means I have to round to the tenths place. So notice that 30.0, this digit is a 3, so we're going to round down. And so my answer is going to be 30.0 times 10 to the 2. I have 1, 2, 3 significant digits here. I can't just get rid of these significant digits. I have to keep them. So what I'm going to do is, now I'm going to put this in the correct scientific notation. So I'm going to move the decimal point over 1 by a power of 10, and I'm going to get 3.00 times 10 to the 3. So this is going to be my correct answer in scientific notation. So what we're doing today is we're going to practice a little more on scientific notation, but I promise it's almost over, and we're finally going to be getting ready to start some chemistry this next week. So what we've been doing is just getting you ready for the types of problems that you're going to see, or the types of skills that you're going to need in order to solve the problems later on. So what I want you to do is I want you to keep practicing and chin up, and I hope that you're doing well. And if you have questions, you please let me know. Use our support tickets, and I'll be glad to help. Enjoy your day.